They are going to continue to rob us of our wealth. They will continue until the dollar is worth zero. Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. This is my second video for the day. Actually my third, because I just posted a video on the Alaska Prepper News channel talking about inflation. And then I come across this article. Actually my niece from Texas sent it to me, and I am definitely going to go ahead and do a video on this because it just shows what we've been talking about for months, if not years, that eventually inflation is going to hit the supermarket shelves at a higher and higher rate as the months and years go on, because the government cannot stop printing money. And I'm sure that they're going to blame it on someone or something why they have to raise their prices, but we all know the truth, ladies and gentlemen. That is why it's very important for us to stay informed. The title reads, Kraft Heinz and Conagra may raise some product prices as grains and edible oil costs surge. Now, ladies and gentlemen, they may raise some product prices, maybe say they already have, and they're going to continue to do so. Kraft Heinz Company and Conagra brand said they may choose to raise prices this year on some products that use wheat, sugar, and other commodities that are becoming increasingly expensive due to high demand. Conagra's CEO said the company, which makes Duncan Hines cake mixes and Marie Callender's pulled pork mac and cheese bowls, will need to implement inflation-justified price increases this year so it can also continue to fuel sales growth through innovation. Ingredients and packaging costs represent 60 to 65% of the total basket. With people on lockdown, cooking more at home, and still stockpiling in some parts of the world, prices for commodities like sugar, wheat, and soy are surging, forcing food companies to absorb higher prices. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure that it's our fault that we're stockpiling food ahead of these price increases that are for sure going to come down the pike. But as you can see here, that they blame it pretty much on us, right? On the people, because we're hoarding, we're consuming more, etc. But they don't mention that we're shipping record amounts of grains overseas, that we're exporting record amounts of grains, and that exportation of our grain actually makes the prices of our grains here at home more expensive. They don't mention those things that they don't want you to know, ladies and gentlemen. That is why it's important to stay informed. U.S. consumers on average paid 3.7% more for food consumed at home in January than they did a year earlier. Year-over-year increases in food prices have topped 3.5% each month since last April, the longest such stretch in nearly a decade. And it's only going to get worse, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure that you are preparing actively and that you do not stop. Quote, we have inflation. We are seeing inflation. We are concerned about inflation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they're not very concerned about inflation when the government prints up trillions of dollars and gives it to them. They're not concerned about it then. But now they're concerned about it because it's going to start to hit their bottom line. But it won't, ladies and gentlemen, because you know what happens? It's going to be pushed onto us, the consumer. That is why it is important that we keep the government on check and make sure that they don't print all this money that they're printing. However, I know that was a mini rant. I know there's nothing we can do about it, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing you can do is prepare yourselves and your families. We have to mitigate that inflation, or at least part of it, with hedges and with efficiencies in the factories. Efficiencies in the factories, ladies and gentlemen, means that they're going to let people go. They're going to fire people. Kraft Heinz chief executive Miguel Patricio told Reuters in a recent interview, we will have price increases in food this year, maybe in some categories that are very exposed to specific commodities. Where we are seeing inflation is in grains and everything related to grains. It's across the board. Isn't that something, ladies and gentlemen? It's what I've been hearing for the last year. It's what I've been saying for the last year. It's what the Ice Age farmer has been saying for the last decade. Isn't that something that now they're saying it? Why is that, ladies and gentlemen? Because the inflation is here. The inflation is here. So now they have to let you know. They have to ease it in as to why prices are going to skyrocket. Sugar has big inflation. Mac and cheese because it has wheat. Mayo because it has oil. Salad dressing because it has oil. All sweet products like desserts, Patricio said. Kraft Heinz, which makes Jell-O, Kraft macaroni and cheese, and a slew of Heinz mayonnaise products and salad dressings, said it did not increase prices in the most recent quarter, but did cut down on promotions and discounts. Other major food companies, including Lipton Tea and Hellmann's mayonnaise maker Unilever, have also signaled higher prices due to global commodity inflation. We've got some inflationary pressures coming forward, and we do expect mid to high single-digit commodity inflation in the first half. So we have to be at the top of our game in pricing going forward. What he just said, ladies and gentlemen, is that for the year of 2021, we're going to have double-digit inflations. He said for the first half, we are going to expect mid to high single-digit inflation in commodities. Do you think it's going to get better during the second half, especially after this stimulus gets out into the economy, whenever they give it, which is supposed to be in the middle of next month? But do you think it's going to get better or worse the second half of 2021? Ladies and gentlemen, this may be an article about ketchup and Jell-O, but trust me when I tell you this, it's not going to get better. So prepare. The food producers are not the only U.S. manufacturers beginning to respond to sharply higher input costs, the highest in a decade in some national surveys, with price increases of their own. The Philadelphia Federal Reserve's monthly factory survey for January showed prices received by manufacturers for their goods rising by the most since 1989. U.S. Federal Reserve policymakers, however, have downplayed any imminent inflation risk. They do not regard one-time price hikes in an industry across a group of goods as inflation. Oh my goodness. As opposed to sustained price increases across the broader economy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what tells you that those people that work for the Federal Reserve and the government have absolutely no idea what it's like to be an average person like you and me. They have absolutely no idea what it's like to work a 9 to 5 and have to count on that money that you make for a 40-hour week to put food on your table. They have no idea. And these are the people that control our lives. Households have been buying more groceries. You are going to see price pressures, Kansas City Fed President Esther George said. But he's not saying anything about the hundreds of thousands of restaurants that have stopped buying food. No, because it's not in their narrative. That's not what they want you to know. They want you to know that you're going to pay higher prices whether you like it or not. Ain't nothing you can do about it. So you take your little stimulus check they're going to send you and you go spend it on some food because you're going to need it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited enough. I'll go ahead and leave the link to this article if you want to come and revisit it. I just thought that I'd put this out there because, to tell you the truth now, after reading this with you all, this really got me a little excited and upset. Because, ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing we can do about this. There's nothing we can do to fix this system. Absolutely nothing. They are going to continue to rob us of our wealth. They will continue until the dollar is worth zero. And what bothers me most is that most people will not know until the end. Those are going to be the people that say you can't eat silver, you can't eat gold. You know what? You're going to wish you had some way of protecting your wealth when this all ends. Because it's not going to end well if you haven't protected whatever extra wealth you have. If you don't have a lot of wealth, put it in your pantry. That's where it belongs. Put it in goods and stuff that you know you're going to use. That's where your wealth belongs. If you have extra wealth after having everything you're going to need for a year or more, if you have extra wealth after having a safety net in a bank account that will cover your expenses for 3 to 6 months, if you have extra wealth after having a little bit of cash at home just in case, if you have extra wealth after that, ladies and gentlemen, well, I'm not going to tell you what to do. But what I think is that gold and silver will protect your wealth when this dollar goes to nothing. And yes, you can't eat it, but I bet you'll wish you had it. because this system is going down, whether you think so or not. Not fear-mongering, ladies and gentlemen, just telling you like it is. Thank you very much for joining in today. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place. And you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.